Hello, my name is Adam Wehmeier, and I'm recording this video for my project class, for my project for the class. What factors did Krevkor identify as making a person American in the late 18th century? Well, he thought that the people who left Europe and went to America, he saw them as new men because they shaped themselves by the work they did and how they changed their government in America. He felt like they had a strong connection to their land and the labor they used on that land with their independent farming. He thought it symbolized freedom and prosperity. He admired their religious diversity and the different types of cultures that were in America. Do I agree with these factors as identified at the time? To what extent are they still accurate now? I agree that they today people still reinvent themselves as Americans. Just the whole idea of the American dream, how people come from different countries and move over here to have a better life or try to have a better life. Farming is still a pretty big deal in America. It's not nearly as big as it used to be, but I think the whole value of working hard and being self-sufficient is still a strong value in America. I would say it's also the equality and religious tolerance is pretty foundational to American democracy, or at least it should be. I feel like there's some people who kind of put a target on that, or not necessarily a target, but don't really see it that way, which is unfortunate. I think Krevkor's vision was pretty aspirational when it came to America, even though he had some gaps in his vision, or either he had gaps or he left them out intentionally. Which of the fractures identified in American society from evidence in Chapter 6 and 7 of the American Yop were the most significant / important? I think the biggest fractures were probably slavery and the division that there was between white and black Americans. Slavery is pretty oppositional to the idea of liberty and equality, so I mean that's a pretty big fracture right there. Americans wanted to celebrate freedom, but we also had tons of African Americans who were enslaved, forced to do labor. That's pretty oppositional to freedom and liberty. The enslaved people took on most of the, I guess they bore the brunt of the fracture because they were suffering from exploitation of being a slave. In your opinion, does any remnant or legacy of this fracture still play a role in American society? Explain why or why not. Definitely. There's a lot of people who believe there's systemic inequality in America, and I believe that as well. There's racial disparities when it comes to money and education, healthcare, the criminal justice system. I think that's pretty evident whenever, there's been studies that have come out that's saying, or I guess not even studies, but you kind of can just see it, where there's black communities that just are clearly not, they're way lower on the totem pole when it comes to income and education. And also, there's political movements that have been happening over the recent years with like Black Lives Matter, and it came from the whole police brutality, where that man was murdered in the street by police, and it caused the whole Black Lives Matter movement to erupt. I think what happened with slavery in America still has ripple effects to this day.